A caveman painted on a cave. It was a bison, one was a fave. The other cave people would rave. They didn't ask why.
Throughout this entire musical, Joss Whedon doesn't really say a lot. And when he does say something, it was always A, gloomy, and B, incredibly disdainful of what everyone was doing. More specifically, very obviously disdainful toward the fact that they were doing a commentary. And most of the time when he talked, it was clear that he was about to explain why he felt this way, but he was constantly getting interrupted by the rest of the cast and crew. But the time for interruptions is over, and Joss finally says his piece. So this song allows us to see why Joss has such a disdain toward commentaries. And like with the rest of the characters in this musical, it should be reminded that this is a caricature of Joss. It is in fact very obvious the actual Joss Whedon has no problem with behind-the-scenes stuff and commentaries because, well, for one thing, he wrote an entire musical commentary, not just him, but he was definitely a part of it, and also he's been doing behind-the-scenes stuff pretty much since he started making things. But this version of Joss does in fact have a disdain toward commentaries, and this song lets us see why. He talks about the great work of the past, namely a cave painting by a caveman and Homer's Odyssey. He mentions that both the cave painting and Homer's Odyssey were both very good pieces of art, and that they didn't need to be explained. The other cave people didn't ask anything about the cave art, they just enjoyed the fact that this person made art. And when Homer wrote Odyssey, he just told the tale. He didn't do any behind-the-scenes stuff, he didn't talk about anything outside of the tale, he just told the story. Because, according to Joss, you're not supposed to know the process behind the story, you're just supposed to enjoy the story. All of this look into the process, and as he himself puts it, basically picking the story apart and finding that heart is breaking the stories. And so all of these behind-the-scenes stuff is completely destroying the narrative that Joss tried to make. And that's why he has such a disdain for it, and why he very clearly isn't happy throughout this entire commentary. Near the end of the song, the other writers, Jed, Zach, and Marissa, try to explain to Joss why these commentaries are important. And this is mostly because without these commentaries, Joss's fan base would fall away. Because this is just the business that Joss is now a part of. He makes these things, and his fan base wants behind-the-scenes stuff, so he has to make it. And apparently the final nail in the coffin is Marissa saying that without these commentaries, Joss would be ignored at Comic-Con. So Joss attempts to rally and give an actual commentary as to what's happening on screen. But he finds that he just can't compromise his integrity, and quite literally leaves the set. And that's it for this week's song, so tune in next week for next week's song. See you then!